Hello, everyone, and welcome to Boost Your Confident Self-Esteem. And I'm going to figure out how to turn this off. Okay, so I'm really excited today because I think I've managed to figure out how to go live on Instagram, live on Facebook, and live in YouTube. So wherever you are coming in from, pop your name in the chat. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, hearing your comments as we go into it. Today, we're going to talk about 5 strategies to boost your self-esteem or self-confidence so that you can achieve the dreams of your life. And I'm really excited. I'm excited about today. I'm just going to reach over here and show you all something. But I went to a workshop on the weekend, and I hadn't planned this like when I did this call, but I went to a workshop that had me put together this really cool dream board. And I'm really excited because, when you get clear, when you have these ideas, they come to you. So if you are just joining me for the first time, the intention of this is to create a conversation. And the more we can create a conversation, the more I'm able to answer very specific questions that you may have or that you may enjoy. So I see the Mint Cart has joined us, so I'm going to give a shout out and a wave to the Mint Cart. But let me know your name, and like I said, pop any questions or comments into the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go. So today, I want to start with what I call my 60-second booster for self-esteem. And if you have never taken my 60-second program, it is free to do. I'll make sure I pop a link below so that you can attend it. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through a really quick version of it. So I want you to just take a few seconds and think about what's going on in your head right at the moment. Think about maybe what thoughts have come up for you today that have kind of held you back from really going for it, from really being as incredible as you are. Just allow those thoughts to come in. Now, the next thing I do as part of this 60-second routine, and what happens is you're going to start to eventually be able to do all of this in 60 seconds, but I'm going to work you through the process, is we're going to start by doing what's known as box breathing. And so in box breathing, you breathe in for a count of 4, you hold for a count of 4, you breathe out for a count of 4, and then hold for a count of 4. And what I want you to do is just do this once with me. So breathe in. Now hold. Now breathe out. And hold. Great. Now that you've done that, that is the basics of box breathing. And box breathing allows us to slow down and allows our body to relax and start to feel safe. Now, the next thing I want you to do is on the breathe out, as you breathe in, allow whatever thoughts to come up. And this time, as you breathe out, I want you to say the words for the count of 4, love to be me. Because our goal is actually to create incredible confidence. So why not love to be me? Okay, so you're going to breathe in. And now you're going to hold 4, and on the breathe out, go love to be me. Allow all that breath to leave and hold. Fantastic. So now that you've done that, we're starting to get our body relaxed. We're starting to trigger those words in our mind to remind us to be good and kind to ourselves. Next step in this process is to add a smile. So our face when we start to smile and when you start to laugh, you actually struggle to feel bad. Your body and your mind will actually start to become in tune. So this time, as you do the box breathing, and we're going to say love to be me on the way out, I want you to allow that smile to grow on your face. Okay. And allow it to grow with your, allow the cheeks, if you have dimples, to face in. I don't have dimples. And allow the little creases on your eyes to show up as well. So let's do this again. We're going to breathe in for the count of 4. Hold and love to be me, and breathe out and just hold. Beautiful. You are doing a great job. The next thing is posture. So when you see someone confident, you see them walk into a room, their head is up, their neck is elongated, and they are strong and confident. And so I want you to show up with that incredible confidence. I want you, it doesn't matter if you're sitting, it doesn't matter if you're driving a car, roll your shoulders back, lift your head, and put that smile on your face. And we're going to do it once more. So breathe in, hold, and breathe out, saying love to be me. And now hold, keeping that posture lifted. Beautiful. Okay, so then one more bit to it. I want you to think of something that you did well and something that you've done positively and that you learned how to do even at a really early age in your life. So maybe even choose something that you learned how to do when you were a child. So maybe that is something that you learned how to ride a bike. You learned how to tie your shoes. You learned how to set the table. Whatever it is, I want you to choose one thing that reminds you that, you know what, confidence is something that you gain. Confidence and self-esteem is through the appreciation of ourselves. So I want you to think of something to appreciate yourself for, something really, really small that you did. And the nice thing about doing this is you can do this with your kids. You can do this with anybody of any age and anybody of any skill set, right? It is not about skill. It is about what is in you. So let's do it again. And as you breathe in, I want you to think of that thought. And as you hold and smile, I want you to try and remember doing that, or remember achieving it. Remember being like, yes, I actually tied my shoes for the very first time, or I rode my bike without falling over. Whatever it is, I want you to find that joy and bring it in as we do this breathing exercise. So here we go. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold while smiling. Posture is good. 3, 4. Now love to be me as you breathe out and allow yourself to relax. And you know, this is a great little activity, whether you've had a stressful day, whether you get up first thing in the morning, is just breathe in that positive language, get the smile and the posture aligned. Your body will feel great. Hold that image of your success in your mind. Remind yourself that you love yourself and just hold and do that for 60 seconds. Just repeat that breath in, breathing out, and just allow yourself to get in. So I'm so excited that you have stayed with me, that you are here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Micheli. I am an empowerment coach, and I help my clients develop their confidence so that they can flourish in life and business. As well, I help women move up the corporate ladders on their leadership journey to CEO. And I have this goal to empower 1,000 women into CEO positions. And that doesn't matter whether you do that as an at-home business for yourself, or you are within a corporation that's very male dominated, to help you move up. I am known for having saved corporations $9 million in 9 months. Yep, $9 million. Imagine doing that. I have also had a client call me a psychic for helping her clear and release childhood blocks so that she could manifest her dreams of doing yoga on a dock in less than 28 days. So remember, we can actually become our own CEO no matter where we are. And I do this through a technique called my MECCA formula, which stands for motivate, elevate, captivate, and appreciate. So if you thought that that little 60-second booster was really, really helpful, then in the link below, there will be a link that will take you to the 5-day program of how to build it. But if you just want to be able to do it from this video or think that this is going to be helpful for others, then I would appreciate you hit the subscribe button so then you know when I'm going to go live, and feel free to check out any other freebies that I offer. So let's get started. Let's dive right into confidence. What is confidence? Where does it come from? So according to the Oxford Dictionary, confidence is this feeling of self-assuredness arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities and qualities. And I actually was listening to Jay Shetty talk about this yesterday, and he did this really great example of abilities and qualities. And we're going to get to that a little bit later in this process. The other resource that I think provides a really incredible version of self-esteem is somebody by the name of Nathaniel Branden. And he was a psychotherapist who really specialized in self-esteem, has written a great deal of books. And he had these two statements to say. So first, he's like, self-esteem is our confidence in our ability to think and our confidence in our ability to cope with basic life challenges. And every day we get into these basic life challenges, which is why I put that 60-second self-esteem booster, because sometimes we just need to take that moment, take that break, and just relax into it. His next statement is that self-esteem is the confidence in our right to be successful and happy. That feeling of being worthy, deserving, entitled to assert our needs and wants, to achieve our values, and to enjoy the fruits of our labor. And so when I help people, my intention is to help you flourish in both life and business. Because when you start to recognize that you have a right to be successful and happy, that you are worthy, you will start to flourish even more. So we're going to go into the 5 strategies that I put together. And oh my gosh, as I was doing this, there were so many strategies, so many ideas and thoughts. And so I've tried to narrow them down into these 5, but I will be in the future videos talking about other strategies that you can utilize. So strategy number 1 actually comes from the work of Jack Canfield. And as one of his certified trainers, I think this is a really, really valuable strategy. And this is, we are 100% responsible for the things that happen in our lives and the experiences of how we want them. So Jack Canfield has this philosophy with his 100% responsibility, and that is E plus R equals O. So E stands for the event. Whatever the event is that comes into our lives, that event we may not be able to change. And those events, especially when we're children, could be things like being picked on the playground, and to see something that does not align with our values or our belief systems. So these are events that happen in our lives. But what he says is it's not just the event, it's our response to the event. So when we think about our response to the event, and as I work with clients in a hypnosis setting, we start to uncover what belief or idea we create in our mind around that event. And so if somebody calls us a name, for example, right, what is the belief that I believe that says that that name is correct? The reality is how we choose to imagine it, how we choose to take that response in and accept it is what happens to the outcome in life. And so I have seen people, for example, get called a name and they are like, that's fine. Life is good. I have seen other people get called a name and be completely destroyed by it. I have witnessed people, for example, get fired from a job and go, oh my gosh, collapse down and not be able to show up and move forward. And I've seen other people who get terminated from a job and are like, yes, I actually get to leave because there was something holding me back from doing the thing that I wanted to do. And they go on to be even more successful. It is your response to the event that determines the outcome. So, as part of this strategy, what I want you to do is I want you to take a moment and realize that your dreams are the things that you can fulfill. And your dreams are the opportunities that come alive when you make them. When you choose to create an outcome, which is your dream, from the events and how you respond to them in your life. So, I want you to take a few minutes and I want you just to close your eyes. And I want you to think about something that you've dreamed about, something that you've desired, that you've wanted in life. And whether you dream about it, whether you think about it, whether you play with these ideas, I want you to take that moment in your mind and really think about it. And think about, what is it that's holding me back from achieving that dream? Am I choosing to stay in a job that doesn't really suit me? Am I choosing to stay in a relationship that doesn't really suit me? Or do I have a belief or a philosophy in my mind, right, that's holding me back, that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I need things to be perfect? What are those thoughts? And I want you just to think about it for a few minutes and write it down. And think about that big dream. What is that dream that you want in life? Now, I want you to, beside that thought that you have written down as to what it is that is holding you back, I want you now to put, what is the opposite statement? What thought could I have if I dreamed something different? What thought could I have if I didn't accept the situation as it was presented to me? So maybe, for example, somebody has picked on you and told you that you are not capable of being a good speaker, for example. You could accept that thought and say, you know what, I'm not a good speaker. I am not capable. I'm not smart enough to do what it is that I'm doing. Or you could say, you know what, that person has no idea what they're talking about. I am a fabulous speaker. In Jack Canfield's work, he does an experiment called the green hair experiment. And I think this is a great way to think this through. So imagine somebody came up to you and said, oh my God, you have the most ugly green hair. Now, I know we're coming up to Halloween and you may be dyeing your hair green for it. But the reality is, I'm going to guess most people who are watching this video do not have green hair. So just like somebody calls you a name, think of your hair as an example of, I don't have green hair. What are they talking about? This is foolish. And choose not to believe that statement. Choose to believe that you have great hair. And maybe it's brown, maybe it's red, maybe it is blue, if that's what you like and you're interested in dyeing it. But you don't take it as negative, right? You don't even necessarily agree with it because somebody's telling you you have green hair and you 100% know you do not have green hair. So if you know, for example, that you do not have green hair, why do you take in, or why do we take in, and trust me, I have been here, statements that say you're not good enough, you're not capable enough. So I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about how those statements are not what you think. And if you can give up those statements, if you can start to change that belief, what is the dream or desire that you have, and how can you play big to achieve it? So that's strategy number one. Write down your negative thoughts, create a positive response that could be an alternate belief. Number two is motivate. Starting to learn what motivates you helps move us forward. So, one of the things about gaining confidence, right, is this appreciation in your abilities and qualities as stated by the Oxford Dictionary, right? And so, how do we start to learn to appreciate our qualities and our abilities? It's actually by doing things. So the first thing, and the first part of my MECA formula, is called motivate. And motivate is really, what is the drivers of you? And there's some interesting work by a psychologist named Dr. Taby Kaler. And I've really just kind of started to dive into this, and I'm looking forward to being able to offer training of this in the new year. But he has this thing known as the process communication model. And within the process communication model, he discusses what our perceived perceptions are for motivation. What is it in relation to our personality and our desires that cause us to be motivated? And so I'm going to take you through his 6 styles of motivation. And I'm curious to know which one rings well for you, because we're all slightly different on what motivates us. So the first one is your recognition of work. So being recognized and aligning to your work in a time and effort. So when people appreciate the amount of effort that you put forward, the amount of time you invest in your work, and sometimes you seem like others may think of you a bit as a workaholic because you get so much drive from showing up and just doing and performing every day. Is that who you are? That's actually who I am, as I came to learn in this process. The next thing is a relationship to the contribution of your work or values. So, is your opinion important? Do you feel that your work needs to have some significant meaning in the help and drive that it moves forward? And does that help motivate you to achieve the results that you want? Maybe you are somebody who's really, really driven by connection. And I think this is part of the nurture in women, especially, is this emotional and harmony. Do you feel good bringing people together, surrounding yourself, and making sure that everybody's voice is heard in a table, in an idea? Is that what motivates you? The next is solitude. Do you prefer to be able to think quietly, to be able to have your own little space, go into your world of imagination, and allow yourself that quiet space to think? Or my second level is excitement. And so I love when there's a challenge, when it gives me this opportunity to take quick action. So maybe you're somebody who needs like events. Maybe you're like a fireman, for example, right? It's that drive to go to the burning building. Maybe you're somebody who's a stuntman and just really loves taking action. Or even within your company or business, that you are an action taker. So are you that type of person who's like, okay, let's get moving, let's get going? Does that provide you motivation? Or are you somebody who is more fun, more positive, more playful, likes your environment, that drives you for work, that drives you, that has some fun. Right at the moment, I have a friend who's going through a challenge at work because everybody's coming at it from this drive work, drive time, drive schedule. And he's like, I'm lacking in play and fun and positivity. And here is what I have noticed in the work world. I fit really, really well because I like time, I like schedule. And it wasn't until I started to understand this process communication model that we all have these different motivations. And there's not one that's more right or wrong. And we actually have the ability to move up and down through these different motivations. But the one that resonates with you the most. So I'm curious, if you're here, post a comment. What resonates with you the most? Are you resonated by being from a motivation in a place of solitude and quiet? Or are you someone who needs to have a lot of fun, a lot of joking, a lot of positivity, maybe have some games to get you going, to keep you moving, to provide joy in that day? Post a comment in as to who you are and what it is. What style of motivation do you like? Because when you do, and you work more in that area of motivation, you use that to help you boost your confidence, you will start to have your psychological needs met. And it's really, really important that we have our psychological needs met, that we feel great in this process. Okay, so we're doing great. You guys are doing awesome. Thank you for continuing to stay with me as we work through this process. So the next thing that I want and I'm curious to see from you is elevate. So in the 60 seconds to boost self-esteem activity that we did at the start, I talk about elevate. And to me, body language is huge because 70 to 80% of all of our communication is through body language. So how we show up externally from a confidence standpoint is seen by others by our body language. And so when we're closed off, when we have our head down, right, that holds us back. Our body language also has a huge impact on our mind. And we can tell personally if we are struggling with the day, if we are fear, not necessarily by the thoughts that are always coming up in our head, but our body starts to react, right? Our body starts to really feel tight. You may feel stress across your shoulders. You may feel your jaw really, really tight, right? You may feel the heartbeat starting to process faster and faster. So, depending on where you are, who you are, you may start to experience these different levels in our body. So, our body is really, really important, and being in tune with our body is really important. So, one of the best ways to kind of connect with our body, to connect and start to help release stress in our body, is to do the breathing activity that we did in the 60 seconds to self esteem. But the second option is actually starting to connect with your five senses. And until I trained as a sommelier, I didn't realize how to utilize my five senses really well. But when you study wine tasting and you start to be able to pick a wine out just because you can look at it, smell it, taste it, feel it in your mouth, you really start to appreciate the value of your five senses. And your five senses takes you out of the future, out of the past, and brings you into the present moment. So we're going to practice a little bit with the five senses. And I want you just to start easily with, I want you to feel what you feel. So you can feel it as in stress or anxiety in your body right at the moment and just get to know where that is. Do you have a little tightness? So for me, I've got a little tightness still coming down this shoulder. But I also want you to feel everything. So I want you to feel like the clothing on your body. If you are sitting, I want you to feel the chair and yourself in the chair. Just really connect with that sense of feeling. How do you feel right at the moment? What do you feel? Do you feel warm? Do you feel cold? What do you feel? Maybe there's a fan blowing and you can feel the fan. Maybe you're outside and you can feel the breeze, or if you're in Ontario, the temperature has dropped. So it's much cooler. What is it that you feel? Next, I want you to use your eyes and I want you to look around and see what it is that you see. From me, I'm really lucky. I'm sitting in my office and I can see the beautiful pine tree, and behind that, there is a beautiful tree that is growing red in leaves with the fall color, which is the time that I'm recording it, depending on when you watch this. I can see I have a beautiful lavender sitting on my desk. And so I can see that. I can see these different things. So, what is it that you see around you? Just connect. You can feel, you can see. Now, I want you to take a deep breath in and breathe out. And what is it that you smell? Do you smell the soap? Maybe that's on your body from having a shower, or the shampoo in your hair. Do you smell food that may be cooking? Because this is being taped at lunchtime in the Eastern time period. So maybe you smell food that's being cooking, or maybe the food's sitting in front of you. Whatever it is, what is it that you smell? Just smell it in and pay attention to the smells. Next, I want you to listen with your ears. What is it that you hear? Maybe you hear children laughing, which I think is always a great sound to hear. Maybe you hear your employees or coworkers down the hallway chatting. You hear my voice. So, what is it that you're hearing? Just pay attention to what it is you're hearing and just become really, really aware. Maybe you can hear a bird outside chirping. Maybe you can hear yourself breathing or someone else breathing. Just become really in tune with your hearing. Now, the final thing is the taste. And connect with the taste. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, really? You want me to connect with taste? But as a sommelier, trust me, and a foodie, connect with taste. And I will tell you, even water, something as simple as water, when you start to notice it and when you really pay attention, does have a taste. And you may taste saltiness. You may taste the toothpaste in your mouth left over. If you're eating, what is it, the food that you're tasting? And this will help you slow down and enjoy your meal more if you actually take time and just savor that flavor in your mouth. Just allow yourself to truly become in the present moment. And when you start to do something, when you start to try something new, pay attention to your senses and get out of your head of your future and allow your senses to bring you back into the present moment. Awesome. Awesome. How does it feel to be in the present moment? How does it feel just to connect and help with boosting your confidence? Because when you can be in the present moment, when you do my 60-second booster and get your shoulders down, your head up, your confidence will start to radiate out you just because your body presence, because you're aware now of the tension that is in you, that is tight, that is holding you back. So, next thing we're going to talk about is captivate. So, captivate is number 4 on our journey, and it is the C in my MECA formula. And captivate is really about your voice. Now, starting to utilize your voice to share the ideas, to share the insights, and to ask great questions. And so when I start to work with people, what I first have them do is actually not necessarily so much as to put themselves out there, which can feel really overwhelming and really like, whoo, okay, how do I get others to appreciate? But you actually captivate more people by listening and by asking great questions. And so, what is the value? And we've always heard this, right? We have one mouth, 2 ears. So listen twice as much as you speak. But people will find you more interesting, will be more open to you when you actually talk less and listen more. And it seems a little unnerving because at times we just may want to give the answer. But what I want you to do is think about how you can get into a better habit of great questioning. And here is really the simple little rule. What I want you to do is eliminate the words why and how from your questioning perspective. So we all, and many of us will have heard Simon Sinek talk about the power of why. And so why is really, really important in understanding the purpose of something. But why holds us backwards? It holds us in this perspective of the 5 whys that as a trained engineer, we would do. Why did it break? Why did it do this? Or as a mom, you probably have your kids constantly coming up to you going, why? And it becomes really annoying, right? It's almost like a bit of attacking. As well, when we use why frequently with ourselves, right, we start to cause us to go in and doubt and cause insecurities to come up. So I want you to really think about how do you eliminate why? And it wasn't until I studied coaching that I started to actually understand this. And it was a hard habit for me to break. And I still do it. But I really, really would like you to consider releasing the word why and from your perspective. The next words that I want you to release from your questioning perspective is how. Yeah, the word how puts us into I need to find a solution immediately and what is the specific path forward. And it also limits our thinking when we get into how because we're expecting the person to give us a very direct and clear answer. And it puts the person on edge with like, okay, this is not really about possibility. This is about do X, Y, and Z. But what I do want you to consider is how to utilize the words what. Because what the word what does is it creates imagination. It creates a forward thinking about possibility. And when we're looking to boost our confidence, when we're looking to boost our self-esteem, we want to start to think about all of the different what's, all of the different possibilities to achieve the results and the goal that I want. So earlier, I had indicated this idea that event plus response equals the outcome, right? So when we get into a response of why or how, it limits our outcome. But when we get into a opportunity of what, it starts to elevate and really kind of open the possibilities of what we can do. So for example, say you have lost your job Or maybe you're in a job that you're like, ugh, I have no desire. When I ask you, why are you staying in it? The words of defensiveness start to come up and all of the reasons and excuses that hold us back. When I propose to you, how are you going to get out of it? It can also cause us to limit and go, ooh, that would require me to go find another job. That would require me to do these different things, which hold us back. But when I ask you questions like, what would your ideal job be? What is it that makes your day great that you absolutely love? What little opportunity, what is something that you could do? What are different ideas that you could do? All of a sudden, it allows us to expand and allows us to think differently. So I challenge you to start thinking about the what and what it is that you can do to expand your ideas, your suggestions around. And when you talk to others, when you are trying to engage others in conversation and you want to be more captivating, utilize what more often. Engage them because that will engage them into the questions. That will encourage them to provide you with answers. It will allow them to explore, making you come across as more interesting and more exciting to be around. And when you are trying to brainstorm ideas on how to move yourself and become more confident and show up as more confident, the more you can ask yourself what based questions, the bigger the opportunities, the more that dream and that how will eventually show up for you. Okay, so now we're on step number 5, and this is appreciate. And this is the last thing that I want you to do. And what I'd like you to do is grab yourself a sheet of paper and start this activity now, but leave this sheet of paper out somewhere where you can keep adding to it because it may take you a bit of a while to do. It probably took me several days to do. And I want you to start to appreciate yourself. I want you to start to appreciate all of the things that you have done and that you have succeeded in. And to do this, I want you to start to write a list of my top 100 greats. Yes, so the great things that you have done, you have achieved, you have accomplished. So whether this is your abilities, whether this is your qualities, whether this is things that bring you value that you show up for, whatever it is, I want you to take some time. And some of you may require days to do this as you just allow yourself for your mind to think and play back. But if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to really become confident, confidence is in the ability to appreciate ourselves. So I'm going to go back to the definition from the Oxford Dictionary. It's a feeling of self-assurance that arises from one's appreciation of your own abilities or qualities. So how do we do this? We want to start to pay attention and become aware of these qualities, become aware. So take some time, get a sheet of paper out, and actually start to write it down. What is it that you have achieved? Maybe you've achieved a high school diploma. Maybe you've achieved learning how to ride your bike. And you may say, you see, what does this have to do with me gaining confidence? The reality is when you become aware that you have the ability to overcome challenges, regardless of how small or big they are, the more small challenges, the more awareness of your ability to do it, the more you'll be able to take that next step and move up to the next step and move up again to the next step. It is trusting in our abilities. It is becoming aware of what it is that we can do. And it's this feeling of self-assurance that's arising from one's appreciation. So I want you to start to appreciate yourself, appreciate your abilities, And when you start to appreciate yourself, I have this belief that what appreciates. So it grows, it develops in value. And the more you can start to learn to appreciate yourself, the more you can start to recognize, go in deep to the things that you have done, the things that you have learned, you can start to really appreciate yourself. You can start to really own what it is that you are capable of doing. And the more you can own that, the more you can start to become aware of those things, the better you will be, the more confident you will start to gain in yourself, because you can never have too much confidence. And we typically will always have little things that are getting in our way, that are getting in our mind. And so when you're doing that 60-second self-esteem booster that we did at the start of the video, it is by looking at this list of my 10 greats, of your 100 things that you've done well. Because I guarantee you that there is 100 things in your life that you have done well if you just take a moment to think about it. If you take some time to bring it to your awareness and allow that to arise from within you. And if you are a mom and you have children, start this list now with them. Keep this list maybe on your fridge. Keep this list posted somewhere that inspire them, that develop them, that help them really start to connect with that appreciation and that makes them great. Because the better we can help our children, the better we can help move this through our family and friends, the better it is. Because here is the thing, I can tell you how great you are, but if you don't choose to believe it, it really doesn't matter how much effort I tell you or what compliments I give you. So I want you to take this. If you do absolutely nothing out of all of these 5 strategies, I want you to take this one. This, I believe, is one of the best that you can do. And that is write this list of your top 100 greats. Take that time to really get to know and appreciate yourself for the things that you have done. Sit with it, visualize it, imagine it, journal it, whatever it is, but really start to appreciate and value yourself. So take those top 100 greats that you have done, that you have achieved, and recognize that confidence is within you. You have more ability and more confidence than you generally think. So take this time and recognize it, be aware, and appreciate yourself for it. So I want to say thank you very, very much for taking the time to be with me today. I know you have a choice to spend your time however you want, and I appreciate that you have taken your time to be with me. And if you know someone who would benefit from this video, then please share it with them. It is on Instagram, it is on YouTube, and I'm hoping it is running live on Facebook. But share this with them, inspire them to get to know how great they are. Because the more confident we all show up, the more we can actually elevate those around us. The more confident you show up in your life, the more you can achieve your dreams, the more you can believe that your goals are. And that 100 list of greats that took you to where you are will help you achieve the goal. Your ability to captivate others, as we said, will help you be able to bring people into your vision, will help you gain more confidence to be able to say what it is that you want and ask and assert your needs, because you deserve to have that successful life. The more that you can connect with the present moment, engage your body in it, the more people will see you as confident. I would love for you to walk into a room and without saying anything, your body language just elevates the energy in that room because you show up as confident. The more you understand your personal motivation, what drives you, what moves you forward, the better it is to help you achieve the skills that you want. And finally, every time that that you see an event happen in your life, whether that be something someone say to you, somebody that you see, something that you watch, think about what is the response that is coming up from you that is holding you back, and what is the alternate response that you can have, taking 100% responsibility of the outcome and the way you can go in life. You have the ability, and when you gain confidence, it is your right to be successful and happy, to feel worthy, deserving, and entitled to assert your needs, your wants, achieve your values, and enjoy the fruits of your efforts. And that is the wisdom of Nathaniel Branden. And I really want you to feel that, but I can't want it for you. You have to want it for yourself. So I am grateful that you have taken the time. And if you would like to know how to move forward, I am launching Amplify Your Confidence in the next month. And to join Amplify Your Confidence, to lift your confidence, to boost it so that you can achieve those dreams and those goals that you want in life, then I invite you to a complimentary live coaching call with me, one-on-one. 100% free is the coaching call, but it will set you up to say, are you ready to step into Amplify? Or is it something that you may want to in your future? Or can we just help you through a simple mindset block that is holding you back? So I encourage you to join Amplify. I also encourage you to take my free training. The link is below on 60 seconds to boost your self-esteem so that you can show up more confident every day. Remember, be bold, be fierce, be confident, and most importantly, be you. Cheers.